Good evening, everyone. I am Rashmi Mandal, founder of R&G Designs, an architectural interior designing firm, and I am delighted to welcome you to our panel discussion on scaling with precision the power of customer-centric growth strategies organized by the Visionary Women Circle. VWC, the Visionary Women Circle, is a premium platform, a subset of the VDU community, aimed at fostering a dynamic and mutually beneficial ecosystem for our members, mentors, advisors, and corporate supporters. This ecosystem aims to facilitate meaningful connections, knowledge exchange, and collaborative ventures. The Circle seeks to empower its members through various initiatives and activities with a focus on thought leadership and innovation, relationship cultivation, business engagements, and collaboration, etc., where members can grow, learn, collaborate, and thrive in their respective fields, ultimately contributing to a stronger, more interconnected professional community. I welcome you once again to our Visionary Women Circle panel discussion series. In this session, we will explore how we can scale up our business with precision and learn and discuss about various growth ideas that can be implemented in our business by focusing on the customer-centric growth strategies, a crucial topic for all the entrepreneurs. So today we have incredible panelists with us. So firstly, I welcome Mr. Shubho Pati Sanyal, founder and COO of Nistula Group of Companies and Quantum Consulting Strategies. Shubho is an expert in scaling business with a focus on efficiency and customer needs. So I welcome Shubho and I request you to please briefly introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rashmi. I am audible clearly.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a big honor for me to be in a panel of VWC, and I'm really honored. The show is definitely going to be very insightful for me. I am a co-founder and COO of the Nistula Group. We are primarily a quantum consulting company focusing on business process optimization, revenue optimization, customer success, and also we are strongly invested in the entire startup ecosystems as mentors across various global panels. And in a nutshell, that is what we are. We operate from two countries, Philippines and India, and we've currently catered to over 150 clients across 18 countries. And I look forward to hearing what are my co-panelists have to say. And it's going to be really insightful. I'm very excited. Thank you so much once again.
We are really pleased to have you here, and I'm sure we are also going to learn a lot from you. So welcome, Shubho. And we have the second panelist with us, Ms. Khushbu Singare, from as a co-founder of an EV cold chain startup and directed at Tropicool. Khushbu blends innovation and customer focus in both startups and established enterprises. So I welcome Khushbu and I request you to please briefly introduce yourself. Khushbu, you're not audible.
Sorry. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm a second generation entrepreneur who took over my family business, which is Tropicool. Today, I'm CEO of the company. I run most of the operations under me. And at the same time, 2 years ago, I co-founded a EV cold chain startup based out of Pune. So I have dabbled with manufacturing, technology, innovation, product development in my career. And I work in the automotive industry. We manufacture automotive components for buses, trucks, commercial vehicles in Tropical. And in my startup, we make delivery boxes, refrigerated delivery boxes for electric vehicle deliveries. So anything that is delivered cold in last mile, food that comes through Swiggy, Zomato, Blinkit, etc. So we are enabling those companies to deliver cold chain to you. So that's
Okay.
my introduction. I'm very pleased to be here. It's an interesting topic, very close to my heart because I have driven sales and marketing personally in both companies. Although I play a much larger role today, but I think that is my first, very close to my heart. This subject of customer-centric growth strategies. So
Approach.
thank you so much for having
Yeah.
me here.
Great to have you here, Khushbu. We welcome you. And we have our third panelist, our VWC member, Hema Raju, who is the founder of the Infinite Brain and Precise Goal. Hema specializes in integrating financial intelligence with customer-centric strategies. So, welcome, Hema, and request you to please briefly introduce yourself.
Yes. Thank you, and sorry for joining in late. Some last minute personal emergency. Hi everyone. So this is Hema here, and we run a brand, the Infinite Brain. So if from the name itself, I think it is very almost known. So we work on the capabilities of the brain and the unconscious, on how working on your thoughts and beliefs and emotions can actually accelerate your business growth. So this is the core of our business, because I feel we all are experts in our own field, right? So technologies and ideas, but somewhere the reason why we're not able to connect with say clients or collaborations or opportunities is somewhere no our thought process, right? So when you are emotionally aligned and you are in that, we say high vibrations, automatically you see that people, opportunities, and so many synchronicities happen that you don't expect. So it's all about talking about why people are lucky and few are not lucky. तुम तो लकी हो, लकी होते नहीं है, लकी बन सकते हैं if you could only align your energy. And that works with working on your beliefs about business, people, clients, debts, and no money. So we work in all these aspects of money for entrepreneurs, and well, we say that 20% it's your skills, and 80% the entrepreneur is scaling and successful because of the mindset he has, the spiritual connect or inner connect that he works on. So that's all about Infinite Brain, and no, it's again the topic is very close to my heart, because customer is the king. And if you say an energy thing, we say that you attract the kind of a client, no, according to the person who you are. So if you want to attract certain kind of a client who is very generous, no compassion and all, you become that and you will get that. So thank you for having me here, Reshmi. Thank you.
Thank you, Hema. And we all are thrilled to have a wonderful panelist here with a wonderful discussion. And I'm sure we are going to have a great learning and discussion today. So, our discussion today focuses on scaling with precision while staying aligned with customer needs. And we will dive into real strategies and challenges and solutions from the experts we have here. So, let's start with Shubho. And I would request you to share your thoughts on the key challenges in scaling while staying customer focused.
Okay, so when we are talking about customer-centric scaling per se, uh, it's often that I've come across that organizations have said, okay, the theories of what our customers do, our customers, that's fine. Let's focus on data. Let's focus on what are the deliverables that we have had, experience a lot of deliverables that we have had in the last certain period of time and things like that. Definitely appreciate it, but again, I go back to the root question. When we are talking about customer-centric scaling, the first challenge with every organization is trying to define who is that customer. Definition of a customer. I always advocate this, that a customer is not a client who has purchased a product. A customer is a person who has scaled a journey from a lead to a client, rather an observer to the client. A customer first is an observer. A client observes. He or she observes the market, or if it's a company, it observes the market. It observes the market. It looks for products that aligns to its needs, and then once it aligns to its need, it engages. Once it engages, it tries to negotiate. Once the negotiation is over, then that client adopts that particular solution. Once that client adopts that particular solution, then the journey of that adoption starts. How well the client has adopted to that, and then once that is there, and then finally the question of how much the client has succeeded with the product. Once the client has succeeded with the product, and that is where the cycle is complete, and then the point comes where the customer becomes an advocate, the client becomes an advocate. So this, from an observer to the advocate, this is a huge journey that a client engages in. That's a journey that every business should be strictly focusing on. Now when I say strictly focusing on, it is very important to understand that a client is a very, very dynamic concept. It's a very, very dynamic concept. Things, matrices can change from the client's perspective. So when we are talking about scaling, we have to understand the horizontals and verticals that are associated with a particular client. Now, basic challenges when we look at is, the first challenge what I look at is the organization and silos that are there. It is because that it is too data centric. I am not saying data is not important. Data is extremely important. But data about what? Who are we talking about the data? The subject, the customer. Whether the customer has been defined well. And when I am talking about customer definition, customer success is very, very important. And organizational silos prevent that conception to be actualized. And the fact of the matter is, if there is a negative organizational silo, which is present, effective data management will not be possible. So that is the crux of it. And then subsequently, what happens is, based out of what we call like one of my people who have revered a lot, I've learned a lot from him is Dr. Shumantru Ghoshal. He used to teach in the London School of Business. He used to say one thing, that every business has a smell. That is which he used to call a smell of a place. Now this is the smell that drives an organizational culture. Customer centricism is not a process, it's a culture. It is never a process. It is more of a culture which has to be adopted across the length and breadth of the organization. And that culture has to be, it has to start from the security personnel who is standing at the gate to the CEO sitting at the top of the chain. So that is a culture. So when that culture is in place, and that culture can come from recognizing the customer, recognizing the success, defining the success route of that customer from the customer's point of view and how the business is catering to that success, and then subsequently having the organization transform to the culture, a culture of accepting that notion of customer success. And then you get on to the other aspects of resource allocation, wherein you deep dive into data. That is where the analytics start. You go into historical data, understand how the how I would say define data, divide data into real time control and prioritization. Look at exactly when we are talking in terms of scalability, let us look at the bigger picture, and let us look at compartments at the same time, do some real time control prioritization, and exactly find out the right route. And when the right route is found, that is where effective data management can take place. Picking the right data is also extremely important to drive home a solution. And we have a lot of technology in hand today to help us analyze. So what we have to basically labor on as businesses is focus on identifying the right data. What is the right data that is going to lead our businesses to the right route of scalability, which is centralized on a customer. So this is basically my input that I would say. And organizations strongly should you know disinfest themselves from legacy processes. Times have changed. I am old school. I'm saying at my age, I am old school, but I am maintaining this. Legacy processes do not work. Times have changed. We have had a drastic change in the entire business ecosystems, not in business ecosystems, in the all of the global ecosystems in 2019, 2020. Having said that, people have, businesses have started looking, customers have started looking at businesses different. Customers have started to identify what they need. A client exactly knows, and a client has known its right to define its need. And it is the responsibility of the business to understand that need.
Hmm.
Client does not succumb to needs created by business. A client creates its own needs now. So that client has matured. Client has matured a lot, and we have to respect that. Once we respect that, we can understand that our legacy processes, they do not work. We have to optimize on processes. We have to transform processes. And transformation is not hard. It is a will. It is a will to transform. It is a will to understand and driving into scalability where the customer, which is customer centric, and then identify the certain nodal points and then simply go ahead. And it's very, the whole organization as the organization as a whole can drive itself forward. It's not a big task. And the third most important thing is, again, I keep on repeating, which I started with. It is very important to measure the success of a customer. If the success, customer success is not measured, the ROI of the customer by using a product or a service is not measured. Scalability does not make sense. It's a bubble in the air that as businesses we would be following if we do not follow, the measurements. We do not strictly, I wouldn't say follow, I would rather say routinely observe, learn, educate ourselves about the successes that a customer is gaining out of our products or our services, and what is the ROI in place. So that is basically, in a nutshell, that is what I can share.
Actually, very beautifully portrayed how the business strategy has changed in the market these days. So I think all the entrepreneurs in every field are facing these kind of challenges to handle the customer, because that's very truly said that customers have already created their need. We have to give the solution. And then, learning about the complete legacy of the customer is very important for us to upscale ourselves. So very beautifully said, sir. And actually, that was very enlightening for all the entrepreneurs. We should understand while we are in the field, while we are researching, and while we are trying to upscale with respect to different fields and different customers. And thank you so much. And in addition to this, Khushbu, I would ask you that what offerings you align, with the customer needs when we are talking about scaling and innovating. That we already discussed about the challenges, right? Suppose challenges, what offering we can align with the customer needs.
What offerings? Yeah. So to add to what Mr. Subho said, see, in our industry, especially in automotive, the requirements come directly from our customers, right? We make components for, let's say, a bus manufacturer, who then the end customer travels in as public transport. So we have two layers of customers that we have to cater to and understand what product we make from terms of safety, comfort, usability. So we have to keep all of these offerings in mind whenever we design a product. Also, when you meet a customer, there are two types of customers. The one you will meet who will say exactly what they want. They know their requirement, they know their needs, they know their budget, they know what to develop, and they will define the boundary very well. But you will also meet customers who will want something which you may not be feasible, but will be fantastic and over the top and great for the end user. However, when you are faced with these two kind of customers, uh, what we have to offer, we have to really do our due diligence based on whether we can really support it with the technology, whether there is feasibility for production, whether there is feasibility to bring the product in the market, sustain it in the market. So whenever we design an offering for a customer, or we have to think long term. Also, our products that go into vehicles eventually have a life cycle of 8 to 10 years, right? So we have to look at longevity of the product, quality of the product. So what I find is that customers can give you lots of needs. They can define like their top wish list. However, we as business owners need to really filter through and really do our feasibility very well, and sometimes maybe even convince back to the customer that, hey, I know you want A to Z, but what will be
True.
best for the market and the end customer will be only maybe A to G. So you might have to subset and limit, also bring the customer and convince them back that this will work. So I find that as one of the main things when we do offerings which are very customer centric.
Okay. Thank you so much, Khushbu. And I think this is again, because this is very true. When we talk about the client, they already know their need. And of course,
Yeah.
they've got a long wish list. Yeah. So with respect to our business, of course, we need to cut down because you can't give everything to them. And what is visibility? Because we, as a businessman, we know nobody knows our business better than any. Well, we know our business best. So
Exactly.
we are going to advise them, right? Okay, good that you have done your homework. Good that you know everything. But yeah, this is what is going to work best for you because we are the one who knows our business, and this is the best offering that could be done. So beautifully put down, Khushbu. Thank you so much. And continuing to the question, Hema, I'll put the next question to you: that how can companies align the financial goals with these uh, customer-centric strategies? You are not audible. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, so to add on and continue with what Khushbu has been telling, and you were summarizing that
Yes.
definitely you know the best, right? So an entrepreneur knows the best key what you have to offer to the client,
Hmm.
right? The customer, and they might have done so much of research about what they want, but exactly how you can cater to them is only you can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So and when said that, sometimes where we fail in sales. So when business is all about sales,
Yes.
so rather than going and just enlisting, where people fail in sales, just enlisting all the benefits and products that you have within you, where client is almost bombarded. Ki, okay, what do I do? Right now he's in a paralysis. Ki, okay, I'll think. So rather, we give the benefit of doubt to the customer that he is the one who knows the best about what he wants, and then we tell them what we have the best to align to their, their thing. So it gives us an opportunity to tailor make our offering to their needs also, and makes the conversations more winning, right? So that is one thing. And I hope being entrepreneurs, all of you would very well agree that when it comes to marketing also, uh, the biggest thing and the major focus that we all talk about is knowing the client persona whom we're targeting, the niche, and the exact segment that we want to focus on, exact problem we want to solve. So only when we are more focused on these emotional aspects of the client, rather than telling कि ये product उस client को कैसे मैं किस I mean उस client को help करेगा, so I'm like emotionally कैसे help करेगा. And when you market, you talk about their emotions, in what ways they're going to be mentally and emotionally free using your product, right? If it's about a manufacturing, like Kushbu said, so it's like in what ways it is going to solve their hassles of finding a product or no packaging, and like you offer, it's like designing ki ये वाला problem इसकी वजह से how is their personal life getting impacted.
Hmm.
When you attach your solution to bettering their personal lives, they start feeling it much better, because yes, everyone's focus is we want to create impact, grow business, everything. But what they no entrepreneurs or clients are not talking upfront is actually the foundational problem that is lying at their home. मेरा घर
Hmm.
मैनेज नहीं हो रहा है ये because of this task I'm not able to balance my work, so I'm not able to focus this. The moment their personal lives or the relationships are much better, and they're emotionally more evolved and balanced, automatically they are able to focus on their work and business. एंड गोल सबका वही है कि दे वांट टू लिव द ड्रीम लाइफ, बट उसके लिए हर्डल क्या है? सो व्हेन वेयर EQ comes is that you address their emotional points, and accordingly you target or talk about your product, and automatically the clients are going to relate to you much. So when we visualize or we think about designing or marketing or strategizing, or even for the team or the clients, we all need to think in what ways is it solving their problem? How is this client feeling once using my product? And we talk about those emotions. So this is how I think that no, if we focus in business, it is going to be much more easy to connect to the clients, because we always say that clients are everywhere. So
Right.
again, we say this is an abundance mindset. A lot of entrepreneurs who started, they say, कि, who will buy this idea? कहाँ है इसका market? Hardly few people know. For every problem, there is a bunch of population who are waiting for someone to talk about. It's only that you are not able to connect to that population because you are thinking कि नहीं है. So again, coming to the abundance mindset, where you think कि okay, Agar if I am going through this problem, definitely there are a bunch of other population where they are. But how do I go and find them? How do I go and approach them and talk to them? Number one. Number two, how do I deliver my message that they can relate to me, that I am one among them, and so I can have a better solution for them. So again, the emotional connect. So whenever we think, entrepreneurs think, design, sell, whatever they do, we need to think from the emotional aspects of a client. And definitely, we all are solving problem. Entrepreneurship is all about solving a problem. If you started a business, you thought कि ये problem कोई face कर रहा है, why don't I help them? खुशबू thought कि ये problem Swiggy, Zomato face कर रहे, why don't I solve the problem? Right? So everyone, even the sir also. So, but where few people are lucky and people not lucky, इमोशनल कनेक्ट आता है, किसी को नहीं आता है, लॉजिकली बात कर रहे हैं, लॉजिक से बात नहीं बनती है, सो बहुत कम बात बनती है, सी लॉजिक से बात बनती है, बहुत कम बात बनती है. So whether you take Apple or you take no Reliance, जो भी है, you will see they are always bringing family, they are bringing comfort, so somewhere emotional needs is what they are marketing. So
Yeah.
from my end, if you want to really strategize your financial goals, then again connect with the customer sentiments and emotions, and that could be the best secret to grow your business.
Thank you, Hema. So, in nutshell, if I, combine all the three solutions for the customer-centric strategies, ultimately it comes that we have to, study the clients well. We started from studying the client well, and we ended it here with defining the challenges and then the offerings and of course the financial goals. But ultimately, it ends that who are our customers? What do they want? What are their financial alignment? What are their challenges? And what are their legacy which we are taking it forward, and what is their success thing which they want in their business. So
It's
ultimately
all about
challenges, your
goals.
offerings,
Yeah.
and your financial goals are all related of course and comes in cycle only. So ultimately we have to know our client very well when we are started in engaging our clients for the business, and we are doing, then we can do the ROI right.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for this interesting discussion, and I'll jump to the next question to Mr. Shubho. That's how can BPO improve the business process and support customer-centric growth? Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking this question. This is a very interesting question, and it's been 4 decades now that process optimization has been, one of the solutions of process optimization has been outsourcing. Before I go into understanding how BPO improves process optimization, let us understand why we choose outsourcing. That is the crux. I mean, that is where it comes. I mean, the solution is BPO. So outsourcing is the solution, but why outsourcing? So I have come across innumerable businesses where the first thing that comes to their mind is it cuts cost. And mind you, I'm going to put this in brackets. It cuts cost. And I strongly advocate, and I still keep on maintaining that, and I keep on strongly advocating this. Businesses should not cut cost. Businesses should optimize cost. Every time you're thinking about cutting a cost, you're strangling a business. Cost is a very general manifestation of a business operation. So you cannot cut. It directly impacts operations. It directly impacts all aspects of operation. It impacts human resource. It impacts administration. It impacts logistics. It impacts everything. It impacts all the KPIs that are involved in the business. But what is very important is important to optimize cost. So in order to optimize cost, the next step is to understand in an entire business process which aspect or which function of the process is, if we draw a table, we understand which functions of the process are at high cost. The next is if they are high cost, why? Probably a function needs to be a high cost function. Say, for example, we are talking about R&D. You cannot compromise on any cost in that area. Depending on the business, if it's a high tech business, R&D, you cannot compromise. You probably have to increase the R&D budget year on year, and that is very important. Software development, you cannot cut down costs of developmental cost. You cannot you cannot suddenly lay out engineers just to cut down your cost. It impacts your product. It impacts the sustainability of your product. So identifying whether the function is cost intensive. If it is cost intensive, it should be left alone. There are experts who can find out exactly if it is cost intensive, what is the cost, if it is appropriate or not. If there is an optimization required, that can be done. Next aspect is, if it is the cost is not justified, then we need to understand the cost points. What are the high cost points? Now, when these high cost points are normally related to expertise, knowledge and expertise. Whenever there is a high cost point, if it is not an operation that is, if it is not a botched up operation where costs are disguised into various aspects, if there is not corruption or things like that, I'm leaving that aspect apart. I'm talking about a regular operation. Normally, costs are associated with efficiency. Costs are associated with expertise. Now, a business has to understand that this efficiency and expertise, what is the relationship of this efficiency and expertise if it is in-house and if it is outsourced? Now, that is the justification there. When it is outsourced, we have to understand something. Outsourcing means a different organization is handling those KPIs. That organization has not been built on the vision on which this particular business operates. So that organization is going to just follow certain timelines, certain strict guidelines, and deliver what it is expected to deliver. So that is what is important, is identifying that business process. Like, say for example, after sales support. After Majority of the companies, they outsource after sales support, and that is very healthy. But again, the quality aspect, the operational, the systemic aspect should be in control of the companies. They should define how their customers need to be dealt with. What are the benchmarks that have to be clearly defined, and the outsourcing partners can strictly adhere to them. And I would always say that the companies should very closely look at external efficiencies and expertise, and that is the crux of outsourcing. Like,
Right.
we just, in the discussion we have already discussed that we cannot do everything, and that is upfront. And that is the reason why I always advocate collaboration.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
biggest myth in the business world is collaboration eradicates competition. No, it does not. Competition is a constant in the entire business ecosystem. Collaboration optimizes the process of handling that competition and trying to have a clear leadway into the market. That's what collaboration is all about. Collaboration and corroboration, both. So now the question comes is the next aspect of outsourcing is, scalability, which is one of the most important factors. Scalability and flexibility that businesses need to look at in trying to outsource. And we have to understand one thing now. Taking a decision now, it becomes very easy when businesses understand. Say for example, uh, Mr. Nagar's business, their focus is on a product. It's a product that they need to be focused on. So what are the functions that are taking that focus? It's having that focus divided. If it's a software company, it has to focus on the product. If it's a product company, it has to focus on the product. That's the job of the business, to optimize, to maximize the efficiency of that product. So that focus. Now, what are the support functions that are dividing that focus? And if those support functions can be outsourced to a partner, a reliable partner, and that decision making is extremely important. Outsourcing does not happen on reputation. Outsourcing happens whether a business and an outsourcing partner sinks well into understanding the crux of the business functions and the visions the business runs on. So that is one of the most important areas. So businesses should identify that we need to focus on core competency. We need to focus on our core competency, divide. So this is where I would say the answer to your question is, this is where BPO optimizes business processes. Outsourcing optimizes business processes. And that is what the
Right.
important part is. If a business is satisfied that yes, in spite of focusing on my customers, focusing on the product, I am having other aspects taken care of, outsourcing is not required. We consult with a lot of businesses, helping them understand the context of outsourcing, because it is believed that if there's a very simple, it was a notion that came decades ago, that it's a 60-cent industry. No, it does not work like that anymore. It has
Right.
become more advanced. BPO is a very, very, very complex ecosystem.
Hmm.
It is just not about 100 people, taking calls overnight. It's not. That is not BPO. That is not what BPO is all about. It's a very, very extremely complex ecosystem, and businesses have to align themselves with the complexity of the process and identify their own needs very clearly. And that engagement, because a lot of times it has happened, uh, outsourcing has destroyed businesses.
Hmm.
And why did it do so?
Mhm.
While the other aspects were being taken care of, why did it not, positively attribute to the business? That is one of the main questions here. So yes, BPO definitely improves business processes, but it is very important to understand which business processes, why
Correct.
those business processes, and whether it aligns with a sustainability. It is important for businesses right now to future-proof their businesses. Disruption is a given in every business, right? Whether you are a tech business or you are a non-tech business, disruption is inevitable. When I deal with startups, when I talk to these kids, they are so smart. I absolutely become stupefied. They are so smart. And I wonder, like, if, two kids standing in front of me and I look at them, this guy is ready to disrupt this guy's business any moment. He just has to have that bulb strike on. So, and this entire ecosystem is operating on that. So now the challenge is future proofing the business, understanding, addressing the disruption. And you address that disruption, the entire a particular matrix has to be created around the business that is going to ensure consistent growth and sustainability of the business.
Right.
So it is, and it's a given. I mean, you cannot escape disruption. You cannot. Like at one point of time, we used to understand like competition is inevitable.
Hmm.
Competition
Hmm.
and disruption is inevitable. And that is the boon of knowledge. And disruption is healthy. I always say disruption is very healthy. Disruption helps us improve. Disruption helps us challenge our own knowledge. Disruption helps us challenge our own core competency. And that is what helps us create better products, better services, and better customer experience.
Right.
That's all. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. That is really, really interesting. I think all the entrepreneurs and businessmen should understand this, because to invest into BPOs and all, first we need to understand and break up our investments, where we need to invest, right? What is the main core competencies where we would want to invest, and then getting into the market. And of course, where the collaboration works and how the competition and disruptions help us to grow. And even sometimes, it might go in another way. But yes, it was very interesting, sir, to understand, how BPO works for any entrepreneur, be it a product oriented business or a service industry. But yes, we need to know our business very well, where we need to invest, where we need to outsource, and where we can cut cost in our investment to grow our business. And in continuation to this, could you share some plan to us that how we can use the BPOs to scale our business, and how we can ensure the customer satisfaction when we are talking about BPOs? Sure, sir.
Rashmi, honestly, if I have to share a plan, I have to know more about the business.
Correct.
And
Right.
I'll tell you something very, very important here. There is never a standard plan for outsourcing. And if you are trying to adopt a standard plan, please don't do that. That is the first nail that you hit on the coffin of a business. You can never standardize something as critical and as complex as outsourcing. It is just not identifying a guy, I want you to do this for me. Okay, you do this, and you're after that guy's life. Probably it used to happen like that 2 decades ago, but not now. It's very, very complex. It's very complex. Disruption can happen right at the moment when you are actually outsourcing that process. That itself, that particular juncture of decision making can completely disrupt processes. So I will be very wrong if I tell you that this is plan one, plan two, plan three. I would never do that. It is very important for me to understand the business before I understand what how the outsourcing uh, ecosystem will work for that business. It could be outsourcing, it could be share sourcing.
Yes.
So there are a lot of aspects that go into business process optimization. You could be site sourcing. You could be doing a lot of things. It's just not only about outsourcing. You could be sub-vending. A lot of things are there. So I have to understand a business, go into the crux of the business, and have to justify every movement because it is the business that is at stake right now.
Mm.
It is, to put it in
Right.
very simple terms, all our bedrooms are the places where we are most comfortable. It is something like allowing somebody else to come into the bedroom and spending time with us. We open the doors of the bedroom for the common public. That's, in a very gross term, that's basically outsourcing.
Mm.
Because you're allowing a partner to enter into your core business vision. And now the entire process is so complex, I would strongly, strongly advise not to go for a standard plan. Talk to an expert, have an expert understand, deep dive into it, and then finally understand what is the right plan and what. A lot of people see, I'll tell you, for example, one of the organizations, uh, they wish to outsource, their support functions in terms of appointment fixing.
Mm.
Now, what happened is this particular vendor ended up sharing client data with competitors.
Okay.
So now the point is, if this is a this is a very dangerous thing that can happen.
Mm.
And the most important thing is now appointment fixing is something that should be integral to an organization, and if it at all has to be outsourced, what is important to be understood is the context to which it is happening. What is the appointment for, and what is it? It's basically, it has to be a close ended it has to be a closed circuit in which this happens. So in these
Mm.
circumstances, I would always advise for a captive solution. I would
Mm.
never advise
Right.
for a outsourcing solution. How to create a captive solution, depending on the business, I have to understand the business, and then I can advise what would be the best captive solution that would not only optimize costs, it will optimize outcomes, it will also optimize customer experience.
Mm. Right. So again, it comes to like it's a completely business-centric approach, and the business
Absolutely.
owner should understand what they need. Again, understanding the client, and then only we can go for the customer satisfaction thing. So
Lot of
firstly,
things,
understanding the
lot of things.
customer, yeah,
How
it
the
comes. It's
employees are
again,
reacting. Yeah, how what is
yeah.
the, again, what is the smell of that place? How
Mm.
organizations, inside a business, how are interdepartmental business ecosystems working with each other? There are a lot of
Right.
horizontal verticals that are coming out of it. The quality aspect of it, the compliance aspect of it, lot of it is there.
Mm.
So again, it depends, like for example, for a product company, so there are certain aspects a product company should outsource.
Mm.
There are certain aspects that a service company should outsource.
Mm.
So again, that is how the entire system works. And again, outsourcing is not just about handling. It's also about now, for example, now majority of the outsourcing companies the vendors have become so. It is very important to stay in the competition and to sustain themselves to avoid disruption. They have gone into the knowledge management area, wherein apart from outsourcing, they are in themselves strategizing with the client and trying to optimize processes. And then again, you have to decide: is this is this partner strategically aligned with my business? He can be a great strategist, but is his strategy aligned to my business? So that is again very, very important. It's like, I can tell you this much: it's like diagnosing a patient. You cannot get anything wrong. You just cannot get anything wrong, because this fear has closed in. I mean, there are, for example, there are, for one product probably there. I'll just give you an example. In a market, for one product, there are 100 businesses catering with the same product. So the entire role of market capitalization lies in these decision makings, and it's a very, very highly sensitive, highly what I should say. It's a very wise decision making that cleverness does not work here. Wisdom has to work here. Like Hema mentioned about emotion, she was talking about an emotional connect. It is very, very important. Businesses cannot be clever anymore. Businesses need to be wise, and that is very important.
Yeah, the market has changed completely. The way we align with the clients and the strategies have changed completely.
Absolutely.
So it not only business centric, it should be customer centric as well, market centric as well, and then we need to understand what we are approaching to.
Competitor centric.
So the competitor centric, exactly. So we have to list everything, whatever is going in the market, and then we have to think about whether we need to have an outsourcing or whether we need a collaboration, and might be some good partnership work for us to upscale our stuff. So it's completely business dependent stuff that we need to look into, and then we can think of how BPO can work for our business, right?
And for businesses,
so thank you so much.
One small advice I would want to give all businesses, and there are two ways. You can get over to an expert to understand certain things. If I have your permission, Rashmi, and everybody, I can just want to share one slide which is going to explain this. So please allow me to share this. Just a moment.
Sure.
So the fact is, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No, it's not visible.
It's not visible. Okay, I'll read it out to you. It will be simple. Now, business asks for a solution. An expert can say, the answer could be the synergistic summation of a binary pair culminates in the incontrovertible manifestation of 4, aligning seamlessly with the principles of computation and inevitability. That sounds really, really amazing, right? It's a whole world of solutions that is coming from an expert. You know what this defines basically? It basically defines 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 can be also defined like this. So businesses should look for experts who can say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Because it takes knowledge to simplify things, which is very important.
Indeed.
It takes knowledge to simplify things. And and when things are simple, you have the right expert at your place who would do justice to you.
Very true. Very
That's
true.
all.
Amazing example.
Sorry, I was
Exactly. Amazing example.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. So coming to Khushbu, we'll seek some the insights from you, that how do you maintain the customer first approach amid growth and partnership challenges, since we were talking about BPOs and outsourcing. So if you could set some light on this point.
Yeah. By the way, Mr. Subos, some really nice insights there about BPOs and business process outsourcing. I know you mentioned it's not just a bunch of people making 1,000 calls to customers every day,
Yeah.
and we even traditional businesses like ours who are into manufacturing must look at some optimization. I think through such
Hmm.
outsourced processes. Anyway, coming back to your question. Rashmi. So, in our company, we are trying to instill and foster a culture of customer satisfaction and customer centric nature in at every level, at every department. Right? It's not just the sales and marketing team that has to be customer centric. We have made it a part of our core value system. So as our company grows, we scale up. We were a 30 people company. We went to 60. Now we're looking at 100 employees, more 200 employees in the next year. The biggest challenge, actually, it is as a CEO for me, is to make sure that everybody is aligned to the customer centric culture, right? So what we do is that we internally we make each and every department understand what is customer centric mean for them. Because if you talk to a quality department or you talk to a production department, they don't really align well with customer centric. They're more concerned about their day to day tasks, right? But we always explain to them that whenever you're faced with a question, what should I do now? When I have a path to choose two options, the best way to choose is what will the customer want in this scenario. If you make your decisions based on that kind of a thought process, you automatically make the right decision, right? So we are just instilling this kind of culture in our organization, and I believe that it does lead to a lot of positive and successful outcomes for every department, because we are all very human resource intensive operations, and when we do our jobs and we come to work, we all have to, if we one bad decision can actually take you completely away from your objective of customer satisfaction. And so I think that being customer centric should be the essence of any business, no matter what your function is. So, like in the beginning, I think someone said that right from the security in your company to the CEO, so it doesn't matter what level
Hmm.
of
Hierarchy you
operation.
are in.
So yeah, that would be my input as far as being customer centric, and especially when you're scaling up, I think it is important that as you scale up, you can't leave behind anybody. You have to scale up with the same single approach for everybody in the organization. And yeah, that would be my insight into this.
Yeah.
Great.
So basically, be it product oriented or service oriented business, all the sectors of the business should be involved in how your product or service is being carried out in the market, and they should know what the customer needs, and then only we can go for the customer first approach, and we can set it right that customers are satisfied to what we are providing in the market. And again, adding to this, then we all get customer feedback, right? So Kushbu,
Yeah.
how do you use your customer feedback to stay competitive? And of course, we all want to enhance the satisfaction what the client, the customers need. So how do you use these customer feedbacks to upscale your business?
Yeah, good question. So, we have many mechanisms of getting feedback from our customers. One is, of course,
Mhm.
that we talk to our customers regularly, which comes through the sales funnel, the marketing funnel. But the other good aspect is that we have ratings for how we performed. We have a scoreboard, vendor ratings, which tell us exactly in which aspect are we lacking, right? Are we lacking in innovation? Are we lacking in product quality? If are we good at deliveries? Are we doing well at compliances? So we are rated in many different factors, and depending on how our graph looks, in this we do several reviews internally, and we do a basic SWOT analysis of where the company is going and where we can better enhance our abilities, right? So, customer feedback is something that is you can't do once a year. It's not something I take
Hmm.
once a year, and after the year is over, I will take my actions. It is something that we need to do day in, day out. Sometimes customers will give you feedback on the fly also, right? Like,
Hmm.
this did not work for us. Maybe a certain way that we delivered the product or whatever. So in that case, I feel that constant customer reviews is very important. Internal reviewing with your team, and also I feel it's not, again, this is something, customer reviews should percolate down to the people who actually make the product also. So it's not
Hmm.
just for the exec level people that they're discussing customer reviews and feedbacks, because there's not much you're going to impact unless your down the line operations really understand that, hey, we made this, but the customer thinks that we should do this better. So yeah, I feel customer feedback, constantly reviewing it, taking it through different channels, doing 360-degree feedback from customers is important, and um listening to the what the customer is trying to tell you. Sometimes there is a lot of your ratings and everything might look great with customers, but inherently there are issues, underlying issues which you don't address, and then by the time you realize, you lose business. So I feel constantly meeting customers is also something that I personally believe in, that no matter how large your teams become, I think that personal connect is important to really understand at a deeper level how things are moving along.
Yeah. Thank you, Kushbu. And I think when we are talking about customers' feedback, that becomes our subject of R&D as well, that how we can keep on improving ourselves every time, right?
Yeah.
And how we can keep adding value to our business every time. So
Yeah,
that is also a learning for us as an entrepreneur. Yeah.
because for growth you
So
need to keep learning. So and there's no end to learning at all.
yes, yes, very beautifully said, Kushbu. Thank you so much. And since we have been talking about the challenges, outsourcing, and how we can upscale, keeping the customers in sight, and out of all this, Hema always talks about how emotional things adds to, matlab, even that help us in the financial development. So, Hema, tell us what mistakes does business make by overlooking emotional factors in financial decisions?
Yeah, Rashmi. So, no, I think most of the points Mr. Shubham Patil has shared, and as Khushbu also shared, know that not only customer feedback, customer reviews, but no, ensuring that the whole team, the whole company, every no segment of our process, every team is aware about our approach and vision. So we need to also emotionally connect. See, now they're not talking that they're doing it emotionally, they're doing it strategically, but what they're
Mhm.
implementing is about it only. They're wanting to connect with their teams and deliver the message that, see, this is our agenda, this is our vision, this is how we treat clients, this is how we deliver these services. And so that vision has been carried by everyone. So very well Khushbu said, be the security at my gate to know herself as a CEO, right? So everyone has to be aligned with that. And Shubham Patil sir mentioned no, that it's not about being clever, and it's about being wise. So wise is not like earlier it used to be hire and fire. You have so many resources, you take them and you let them go. No, it's about you hire diligently, and you also know how to nurture and take them to the long term, because that even can
Hmm.
spoil the reputation of your brand, and make it so much of burnout every time hiring and firing. So that you're not going to have any long term resources. So both
Right.
ways. Now, when it comes to the emotional no quotient, it's about managing the client as well as no our employees. As you were highlighting about the customer reviews, because the reviews is all going to matter about your branding, right?
Right.
So now again,
Hmm.
coming to risk money and risk decisions, business is all about investment. So Mr. Shubham sir was mentioning know about how few costs you cannot avoid and few places where you optimize them. Now
Hmm.
only it's not that you have some technical no knowledge and you do it. Only a emotionally well versed people can know which risk I should take and I'm capable of taking, which is needed. and I don't
Right.
avoid just because of the money factor, right? So risk taking is
Right.
something, it is an emotional decision. Until you have that
Hmm.
no self worth or the knowledge of the worthiness of your own product or service, you will not be able to move forward in that, because money alone is not what evaluates the decision कि इसको करना है कि नहीं करना है. So cost involved might be high, but करना है तो करना है. So he very well summarized, and as he was talking about it, and that is the most important part of the business. So now be it customers, now branding. Branding may, as we were talking in the first point, that having some strategies where we are aligning with the emotions, morale of the clients, where we engage them. How well do we engage them in our processes? Just review ले लिया and खत्म हो गया. So Khushbu was telling कि she believes in meeting clients. ऐसा नहीं कि यू कीप टेकिंग
Hmm.
रिव्यूज एंड उसके बाद 6 महीने बाद या 1 साल बाद जब ऑलमोस्ट द ईयर इज डन, देन यू गो एंड take as a feedback to grow next year. But then and there, meeting the clients, talking to them, and getting it done is what defines a true leader, and how well the progress happens, quarter to quarter, month on month. So avoiding, even with employees, you cannot just review an employee at the time of appraisal. Consistent feedback, connection, engagement with them. Why nowadays so much is spent in corporates on employee engagement? Because that is the core. Knowing what is going in their mind is what going to help you to design designate responsibilities, or to decide whether this is going to work or not, or should I have a backup plan for my no execution process. So all these things is what a leader needs. No, if he needs to run a long term no business. Now again, highlighting the disruptions. Again, Shubham
Hmm.
sir was very well mentioning about the disruption. The disruptions bring opportunities, and that is the core. When we talk about manifestations, we think what we're doing is fine, but when it's a disruption, initially you feel everything is gone. Arey, I'm lost. But no, when you are emotionally equipped and you know how to handle these adversities, you have the practice of seeing a reward out of this existing problem. And COVID is a very good lesson that people have learned on how to utilize disruptions to their favor. We had losses, emotional, physical, and so much of losses. But if you see, a large population of entrepreneurs have come up, evolved, were able to make that big decisions of quitting monotonous corporate no jobs which they were not liking, and able to bring up their ideas. So if it was only offline, they might not have been able to live up to dreams. But उस opportunity को utilize करना भी कोई बात होती है ना. So last week also I was in a meeting with one of our entrepreneurs, and she was like, कि how people, all of you know how the medical industry made turnovers during the COVID. Even a person who were into manufacturing of sanitary napkins, right? They were able to convert their machines into manufacturing the masks, and they made in crores, where he settled such a huge chunk of debt, and now he is relaxing. He utilized the opportunity. So ये सब कहाँ से आता है? It doesn't come if you're logical, or you just keep seeing कि problems है. It comes when you have that emotional strength and you believe in कि how do you alter your capabilities, right? So all these things comes to the on the disruption. So I would just want to tell that the more you equip yourself emotionally, and you know that you are in control, you are grounded, automatically ideas flow. And for any entrepreneur or a business to grow, to make any decision, this inner gut thoughts कि ये करो या नहीं करो is more important, because sometimes logics, again as I repeat कि don't fit. ये भी प्रॉब्लम लगता है, ये भी
Hmm.
प्रॉब्लम लगता है. उस टाइम पे इंट्यूटिवली जाना पड़ता है, and you will see that if you're aligned, automatically the decisions goes right. That risk is worthwhile. Even so for me also, when I had to quit a job and take up my profession, where hardly I was making 10,000 per month, and I had already debt of 15 lakhs on my head. The decision was not easy, but there I had to go with my gut emotion, because something was not comfortable there, and I had to take that chunk. If I didn't have the clarity, I would not have run my business for so many years. right? So every entrepreneur goes through these disruptions. Today, why they are standing tall and talking about, inspiring people, the failures are their, the crown, or the, jewels on the crown is what I say. And that is how now they are like, जो मैंने go through किया है, I don't want my clients to go through, and so my employees to go through, and that is how I want to set up my ecosystem. Now this is how
Right.
the great businesses run, and they remain in the long term. So it's not just the financial aspect, this emotional aspects make
Hmm.
that financial growth also. So that is what from my
Right.
end I want to add, Rashmi.
So
Yes,
I actually quote this if I quote that even the businessman has to be emotionally intelligent, right? Because you
exactly.
should know how to cater everything while you are in business, be it your emotions, be it your work, be it management of your staff, be it managing your finances. So this all comes as a, crux, it comes as emotionally intelligent, right? So you have to be emotionally intelligent as well, other than investing your intelligence in your business, in your
Okay, so I want
R&D,
to
in
small
your,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
So when we're talking about, again this emotions, see when I'm not regulated, so I see a lot of people ki अरे ये client ना, he's such a mess, ये मेरा दिमाग खाता है.
Hmm.
You never know, he
Yeah.
might be the most kind person if you could only tap into his other face. शायद he's expecting you to meet, or he's expecting something else, and he would become that dream
Hmm.
client. You never know. Initially, if you're
Hmm.
going to judge him
Never know.
because of his initial behavior, that friction that you have until you have got set, then you're losing a, might be a big deal. And as
Agreed.
entrepreneurs, I hope you all would have experienced that. He initially I thought he
Hmm.
was such a thing, but actually he became, now this client is my best client, who gives me regular business or gives me good referrals, and he's so understanding, matured. Same with employees, also, and
Yes.
that is why this emotional regulation makes a lot of sense when it comes to opportunities, tapping into opportunities also, Rashmi. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So where this is where the emotional intelligence comes into play, where we start managing everything, understanding the people, understanding the client, understanding the customer, understanding the market, and even managing our resources. Because like Khushbu is having a big production industry she's into. So how she caters the different segments of her industry, she has to take care of every aspect of it. So until unless we are not putting our emotions also in there, so we won't be able to understand the complete industry. फिर वो problem
Tolerance
हो
will
जाती
not
है.
be
So
there.
yeah,
There will be no tolerance.
हाँ.
Then how will
So
you then grow in
hmm,
adversity? Yeah.
Yeah, good point,
yes.
Hema.
So we
Because
have
I think without emotional intelligence, uh, you just can't run the businesses that we run. And
Yes.
it's
yeah.
such a crucial part of any entrepreneur, right? So, yeah, good point
There's
there.
so many ups and downs we go through, right? So as Shubham sir was mentioning, कि business में disruption is inevitable, होना ही है. So how are you going to
हाँ,
again
होना ही
come up
है.
is what matters,
Correct.
right? So it's easy to
Yes.
give up. People will judge, and you're alone in the journey initially. So it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right.
It was really a great discussion where we started from that the complete cycle of a client customer, that the customer is an observer, then it becomes a lead, and then a referral, and then a potential client, and probably a continuation of referral, and to our business partner collaborations, outsourcing. It was really great to have you panelists with us, and I think the entrepreneurs and the businessmen who are hearing this and who will be watching this segment later, I'm sure they're going to get lots and lots of benefits for their business and lots of learning. Where we all know we all are doing a business, but many times we miss small points where we don't know what to do. And these discussions and people like you open our eyes. We all are into different segment, business consultancy, product, and mind coach, and me into designing. We all have our own challenges. We all have our different kind of customers and clients, and we face our challenges daily. We don't know whom to outsource, and very well said by Shubha sir that we have to do well. We have to research well, and then invest where we want to outsource or not. The way Kushbu said, how we can set different parameters in our company, that how different from right from uh, the guard to the CEOs, everybody, how they are aligned in the growth of the company. So, and as Hema has always been talking about the emotions, how we are emotionally aligned to our business, and that helps us to achieve our financial goals. So three different aspects, but three interconnected aspects for a businessman to grow, to upscale, and to be customer centric, was fabulous. It was really, really delightful to have you all. And it will be really great if you all want to add something additional to it so that we can close the discussion today. Anything you want to add additionally? Or
Certainly, I mean, if I
sure.
could take that chance, sorry. I want to say that
Yeah.
it was a learning for me to be on this panel, to learn from my fellow speakers and panelists. Your perspectives are so different from mine because, of course, we come from so different industry segments. But it was
Hmm.
really nice to learn about your perspectives, and definitely I go back a little bit more wiser after this discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It was really nice to have you
Thank
all. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shubho. Thank you, Kushbu. Thank you, Ima.
Bye.